So again, right here, brothers and sisters, you can see where the whole concept of the Trinity came from, where you see Min Kepera, or Thutmose III, that you see right here in the middle, and then you see Amen on one side, and Mut has been chiseled out. But this is where the Coptics came in and tried to make a cross to make you think this had something to do with Christianity. Where the concept of the Trinity was right here in the temple of Amen. And tell me what the Trinity of Amen was. Amen, Mut, and Khonsu. So here they cut them out to make you think this is in fact the cross. So if the temples were supposed to be so pagan and so heathen as they tell us, then why would they use it as a church? And why would they copy many of the concepts from the Medu Neter, many of the stories of ancient Kemet, and then take the symbolisms to try to make it look like it has something to do with Christianity? But we are told it's supposed to be so pagan and heathen, but yet they came in and built the Coptic church right down in the temple. Because this is the beginning and the foundation of spirituality until it was changed over to a Western concept of religion. This is where you also have the world's concept of the royal holy family, not in Rome, but right here with Mut and Amen. I know that's oblivious to our consciousness because our story has been erased and we haven't known it for a long time. The only holy family we can relate to is some Roman Catholicism holy family that has no representation that looks like us. How in the world you can have a holy family that doesn't look nothing about like your babies, I don't know. Even though the cross, when we get into Upper Egypt, I'm going to show you, it's an African symbol also. It's called the Amsu, that symbolized the spiritual resurrection until the Romans corrupted it. And to the crucifix, had nothing to do with crucifixion, but for a spiritual resurrection that we're going to get into the lectures. Tomorrow when we deal with the Valley of the Kings, one of the most important lectures, especially with Mary Ra lecturing on the whole idea of the goddesses, and I'll be lecturing on the Valley of the Kings, and this evening I'll be lecturing on Karnak and showing you how these things were incorporated into the Western world, and how you equally will be able to go back and see all of this all around you that permeates throughout the Western world, that permeates throughout America, but it's been oblivious, it's not taught in the educational system. Why? Because it would make you think. True education makes you think. It doesn't train you to get a job. Most of us have been trained. Because if you come out of that educational system and you don't know who you are you educated? No. That means you've been trained to do a specific job that you went to school for, to get that degree. Here it took 40 years to go to school. This is where the Kari priests had to come here for 40 years. Initiation into this particular temple. Where they were baptized, you're going to see the sacred lake when we go around the side, as you already saw, where baptism first took place long before John the Baptist. Some of this is hard for us because we've been locked within our belief system. But I would like for you to go to the Webster's Dictionary because there's a word right above belief, and it's called belie. Okay? B-E-L-I-E. They just took the F off of it, but below is belief. So when you study etymology and the roots of words, right above belief is belie, it means to distort, to misrepresent, okay? To distort and misrepresent. So that's what you got, is a distortion and a misrepresentation in your belief. But this is about knowing. As our ancestors said in the Tahuti text, seek and ye shall find. And once you find that truth, know that truth, because it is that truth that will set us free where it ended up in John. For you to know thyself. Hotep. Hotep. Serious documentation. And you're on the front line. You're the soldiers out here. You're out here in the field doing field work. So you see how massive this temple is now. Right now we're in the shrine of Makari Hatshepsut. She was the queen pharaoh of the 18th dynastic period who ruled ancient Kemet, who protected ancient Kemet during her time. You're going to see her funerary temple day after tomorrow, just to see how serious a sister that she is. Although some who did not respect the sister, now some say it was Thutmose III, we have no record of that, but if we look back and see that it may be others who may not appreciated her and chiseled her out. But you see the ankhs representing baptism. This is where the concept of baptism came from. So you see the ankhs where she's been baptized by Heru and also by Tahuti. showing the earliest concept of baptism right here of Makari Hatshepsut, a serious sister during the 18th dynastic period who protected Egypt during her time as well as ruled the throne of all of Kemet. Now we're going to come down here a little bit. Mem is a form of Amen. Now you can see the erect penis of Mem, showing that circumcision was already known by African people long before Abraham. We are told that Abraham started circumcision where he circumcised his son Isaac. If you be of Jewish or Christian, Judeo-Christian background, if Muslim, it was Ishmael. But circumcision was known in Africa thousands of years before Abraham. And even if you look at the old Greek freaks, in fact, they didn't even have a penis, much less they weren't, as you can clearly see, they weren't even circumcised. This is the god Apollo of the Greeks. Okay, you see there's, and look at the size of Mem's penis and the Greek's penis. You see that that's why they got a lot of problems today. You see, so clearly you can see the penis, again, in ancient Kemet coming out from the navel. Now, do you see the X on Mem? Again, showing his arms straight up, showing resurrection. So symbolically saying resurrect from the dead, giving life and resurrection. So the erect penis also represent resurrect. Now let's get into this a little deeper. So our ancestors had no problem showing the earliest concept of resurrection, showing Osiris or Asaru, the first black god resurrecting from the dead 4,100 years BC. See Asaru with the large erect penis and with the sun? Why is the sun above his penis and the scarab? The scarab is kapara, that means to self-create. He's going to self-create himself. He's going to produce the new sun, just like the sun that rises in the east. Now, our ancestors looked at everything with nature. Right before sunrise, brothers, what happens to you right before sunrise? You get an erection right before sunrise. Remember those songs? The best love is early in the morning, right before sunrise. So clearly, our ancestors had no problem showing with nature, showing that right before sunrise, there was the erection as well. So sisters, if you have any problems with the brothers, just wait for sunrise. Everything will be all right. Now, let me show you something deeper now. Steeple on the church for the resurrection, which in fact was no other than the great god's Asaru's penis on top of the church, showing the sun that you see right here and the sun on the church that resurrects in the east. This was a symbol for resurrection.
Break it down.
Can we get a amen?
Amen.
Here's Tahuti. Tahuti representing the scribe of writing, laws of science, or should we say the Neteru, the divine entity. When we lock into saying gods and things, that's what the European would like for us to say, trying to lock into polytheism, but the Neteru, where nature comes from. So again, they looked at nature. So what is it about Tahuti, do you think, that was the best symbol to represent the writing and science and intelligence? What do you see about the nature? The bill. See, the long bill represents what? The pen for writing. So he also was represented as a divine word that came to Isis and said that she would give forth a holy birth. Didn't an angel? Yes. We're going to see that at the temple of Isis. See, further south we get, the deeper it's going to get. And at the temple of Isis, Tahuti, who was the Lord of the voice from heaven, came to her and said that she was going to give forth a virgin birth, an immaculate conception. Didn't an angel come and tell Mary that she was going to be born of a virgin birth and immaculate conception? So he was the one. Yeah, what a coincidence. But wait a minute, it's even deeper, because Makari Hatshepsut, when you see, when we get to the Valley of the Kings day after tomorrow, she's born of immaculate conception and virgin birth. That's right there on her temple. So the virgin birth is an ancient story right here in Kemet. But the most ancient, of course, would be Aset, is her true name that the Greeks call Isis, by the way. Osiris was called Asaru, you see, and Horus was called Haru. So when we say Isis and when we say Osiris and we say Horus, that's the Greek terminology. But when you say Asaru, Aset, and Haru, that would be the African terminology of the earliest Trinity concept. But again, Makari Hatshepsut was born of immaculate conception. We're going to see that tomorrow as well. So there's a continuous story. Now you see Mut. Here you see Mut. This is where we get the term mother from. This is the wife of Amen. You can't conceive of a god without a wife. Our ancestors understood that their concept of theology, their concept of the spiritual belief system, they understood that realm in the relationship to the living realm. They couldn't see God without a wife. We look at the relationship with our own experience here. Man makes up theology. Man makes up the God concept. That's why the Bible is revised anytime they want to revise it. In the King James Version, it's translated down through the ages. So here you have Mut. This is where we get the term mother from. The goddess Mut, who was the wife of Amun that you see right here sitting on the throne.